Singapore Prime Minister Hsien Loong has reaffirmed the ruling People's Action Party's commitment to the labour movement. This amid divisive forces and a fracturing social compact that other countries face, which Mr. Lee says Singapore is not immune to.
Well, he was speaking to union members at a key National Trades Union Congress conference. Brandon Tanoto tells us more.
Labour strikes and riots were common in Singapore during the 1950s, and they were mostly incited by pro-communist groups. To combat this, the PAP formed the NTUC to struggle for workers' rights in a non-communist way. Later, the NTUC was modernised to build harmonious industrial relations with the government and employers. And Mr. Lee's speech comes 50 years after such tripartite ties were forged. Singapore Prime Minister Hsien Loong said that with the uncertain global backdrop and changing technology around the world today, workers are being displaced and left behind. Now, with some also feeling that they're not benefiting from the fruits of globalization. And as such, many of them want to tear the system down simply because it is no longer working for them anymore. He talked about Brexit, rising overseas populism and the ongoing unrest in Hong Kong, and cautioned that Singapore isn't immune to such angst and underlying social divisions.
If it happens to us, like this, what's happening elsewhere, we will suffer the same consequences as the other countries, only worse, because we are that much more vulnerable. And then it will become impossible to govern Singapore, to make and carry out difficult decisions, or to plan for the long-term good of the nation. Confidence in Singapore will be destroyed, and I think Singapore will be finished.
Amid such realities, Mr. Lee renewed the ruling party's commitment to the NTUC and said such close ties have weathered rough times, including the 1998 and 2008 financial crises. Mr. Lee said the government will continue to deliver on its promise to keep Singaporean workers at the centre of its policies.
The PAP government renews our commitment to you. We will always stand with workers, ensure your well-being. We will always do our best to help you and your children progress with Singapore and have a better life. And we'll ensure that no Singaporean, regardless of family background or life circumstances, will ever be shut out from opportunities or left behind.
The NTUC represents 900,000 workers from some 60 unions and other related groups. They will be electing their central committee or highest decision-making body on Wednesday, the second day of the National Delegates Conference. The elections come once every 4 years, and this round, 25 candidates will be vying for 21 seats. But who takes up key posts will be decided behind closed doors.